Hello, everyone, and welcome to Hanging Out for a Living. I am Teresa Oshman. I am your host, and today I'm really excited to introduce you to Sean Atkinson. He's a highly accomplished professional in the field of branding and marketing. With his diverse skill set as a brand and marketing strategist, business translator, I'm really looking forward to learning about that, and advocate for solopreneurs, minority-owned businesses, and small enterprises, Sean has made a significant impact in helping these ventures stand out in the competitive business landscape. His expertise lies in developing effective strategies that elevate brand presence and ensure long-term success. You'll notice during our conversation his commitment to empowering entrepreneurs and addressing the unique challenges faced by minority-owned businesses has really earned him the reputation as a trusted advisor and mentor. With his keen understanding of the market dynamics and ability to translate complex concepts, can't even talk today, into practical steps, Sean has consistently delivered remarkable results for his clients. It is an absolute privilege to have Sean Atkinson with us today, and we eagerly await the valuable insights he will share. So, Sean, welcome. Thanks for taking time to be with us today.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. You are far too kind. And that was a lot. I know it's a lot for people to be able to take in, but I guess one of the simplest ways to be able to explain it is from the business translator's standpoint, I take the business jargon and the best practices and all the things that I learned from the corporate world, and then I translate it over into things that everyday life so people can understand how to be able to customize it and implement it into their own world. So I think overall, one of the things that I've learned in having my own business was the importance of positioning. And positioning really is just putting things in context so that people can understand who you are, what you do, and why they should care. And once you can do those things, then it makes it a lot easier for people to figure out what their next step should be, or if you're a good fit at all.
Absolutely. And there you are already in action sharing with us what exactly is that you do to help. And that'll take us into a couple of questions we have for you. And the first one is, as a brand and marketing strategist, what key factors do you consider when helping solopreneurs and small businesses stand out in today's competitive market?
That is a great question. I would say that there are three things that I start with. It would be their goals, their budget, and their timeline.
Okay.
And then the fourth is really the most important to me, and that's their why.
Uh-huh.
Because if I can understand why you got into your business, like what was the triggering point? In some cases, it's I went through something that I want to make sure that people don't, nobody else has to go through. Or I had a great experience and I want other people to be able to have that experience. So those are some of the types of things that you'll hear back from people. And those are going to serve as key differentiators that will help you stand out as a business. And you want to be able to know those things so that you're in a position to be able to say, well, here's what separates me from this other person. Because there will be times where, you may run into a customer and they'll be honest enough to say, well, I don't know the difference, so I need you to tell me. And, this is where you can say, well, I'm the best fit for these people.
Yeah.
And if you're not within that, I'm good, but there's also other solutions out there that may be a better fit. And I think there's a lot of people that will be scared to do that part, but it saves you a lot of time, effort, and sanity.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Could you share a specific example of a solopreneur or small business you've worked with,
Mhm.
basically highlighting the strategies you implemented to successfully elevate their brand presence?
Sure. Well, let me give you an idea of positioning, so then this way you can see how I actually applied it. So there are four things that I consider part of positioning, and the first I would say is positioning is the art of framing things in a way that answers follow-up questions that people would have about your business. The next would be to put things in context and explanations that are appealing and serve the best interests of the audience. The third would be people need to compare things to so they have a frame of reference. And then the last is going to be one of the most important is the best positioning is something that can be repeated back to someone else without a drop off in the context or value. So if you think about it in that standpoint, I have we can go back to my first client when I started my business, home service client. I met him and he was unhappy with his job. undervalued, and his wife was pregnant. So his thought was, well, as much as I can't stand this job, I've got a wife that's pregnant and I've got a young son at home. I can't do anything about it. My thing is, well, you've got options. You would just need to be careful with them. So one of the things that we did is we spoke about how to be able to start his business, but to do it in a way that allowed him to still leave time for home, and it still left him time to be able to do his work. So we started him in a position where he had a side hustle. And if we go back to positioning is the art of framing things to answer the follow-up questions, one of the first things we looked at is, well, we need to land on a title. We need something that describes who you are. And then we started looking at positioning. Okay, how can we position you properly? And with that, one of the first things I said is, well, quality matters to you. People need to know that. So we actually put it in the name. So he's quality finishes painting. So the tagline was quality. It's in the name. And then one of his other things was he was really fast and efficient. He has an attention to detail that I personally love about Keith. So it's something where I didn't have to worry about things. I can explain it to him once. He pretty much got it. And for the things that he didn't understand, we just kind of went back and worked around it. But overall, as much as I'd love to take credit, it was him because he did all the work. But he's fast and efficient. So that was the second way that we framed him. And if you look at people need context and explanations that are appealing and serve their best interests, the next thing I looked at is, okay, well, now that we've identified who you are and what you're about, how do we put it in a way that serves their best interests? And one of the things that I explained is when you go with some of these larger companies, they outsource the work to freelancers. So they're not as motivated to come in and do that great work. It's just a number for them. They're trying to get through as many apartments or houses or whatever so that they can make their money. But with Keith, he's doing the prep work. So by the time he's done, all he's doing is pulling up things and you can get right back to your life. So if you've got someone that's fast and efficient and they're not giving up on the quality of the work, and when they're done, you don't have to worry about the cleanup, positioning wise, that's something that people would pay a little bit extra for. And we just worked through that and built him up in the local community and then started to work our way out from there. And now Keith not only has that business, but he started his own brick and mortar shop. And so he went from being an employee to having one business to now having two. And he's doing really, really well. Very proud of him.
Excellent, excellent. On to the next question. In your experience, what are some common challenges that minority-owned businesses face when it comes to branding and marketing, and how do you address those challenges?
That is a really great question, an important one. I would say the common challenges are overcoming being viewed as a risky investment. The saying that you have to be 10 times better is true, not just for minority businesses, but small business owners and solopreneurs, because the first thing that they're going to do is they're going to compare you to the larger companies. And in those situations, you have to prepare yourself for that. And you have to make sure that you're not skipping steps, because what will separate you is positioning. What will separate you is what's different about what you bring to the table than what that larger company might bring to the table. So most people know when you think of small businesses, you think of more hands-on. You think of a more personal experience. That's something that someone can leverage. That's something when you think about a minority-owned business, I know my experiences getting to this point and the hurdles that I've had to jump. I know in my community, it's sometimes harder to be able to sell to people that you share a culture with because they want to make sure that they're getting the best. They're not automatically going to say, well, let me go directly to this person. They want to know there's value there. Like, I'll give you my money, but I need to make sure I'm not dropping going with that larger brand and getting less than just because I'm trying to be supportive. So when you look at those things, those are going to be things that matter and you have to prepare for it. And the way that you do that is you don't skip the steps. You put the foundational elements in place to make it so that when people ask those follow-up questions, you have an answer. And when you can answer those questions, that builds up their confidence and it makes you less of a risk.
Absolutely. So last but not least, and you touched on this a little bit, how do you approach the task of translating complex business strategies into more practical and actionable steps that entrepreneurs can implement?
Sure. I am a lover of stories and quotes and anecdotes that take something that's really complex and turns it into something that you can kind of sum it up into a few lines or just into something that you can relay back to someone else. So I love stories. I love looking at one thing in life and being able to apply it to something else. And really, that's a lot of what positioning is in business. And when you look at branding and marketing and how to be able to set your business up as a solopreneur, an entrepreneur, and all those different versions, it really comes back to positioning, and it really comes back to knowing what you want to be able to convey. So my task and the way that I translate things is to say, well, I'll give you an example. If I walked up to you and you've never met me before, and I said, can I have $2,000?
Uh, mm-mm.
Mm. So imagine that there's businesses that are out there and they're not looking at the customer journey to know that there's an awareness stage, a consideration stage, and then the conversion stage. If you walk up to someone and you just ask them for $2,000 and you haven't promoted your business properly, that's what it looks like.
Yeah.
But if you prepare your business and you make sure that they're aware of it, so that it's not, well, who are you? You take that obstacle out of the way. And
Gotcha.
then if you add in some things of context, positioning, it says, okay, well, this is who I am, and this is why, this is what I do, and this is why you should care. Then if I say, can I have $2,000? You have a better idea of what's in it for you, and you don't just think I'm a crazy person.
Exactly.
So translating it that way, I think what people forget sometimes is there are certain parts of business that we do in everyday life. Positioning is one of them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So as we wrap up our interview with Sean, can you all tell how evident it is that his expertise as a brand and marketing strategist and business translator has really been instrumental in helping solopreneurs, minority businesses, and small enterprises stand out in today's rather competitive landscape? With Sean's support, these businesses can confidently navigate the market and really thrive. And we are grateful for your valuable insights and strategies you shared today, and look forward to witnessing the continued growth of success of entrepreneurs who benefit from your expertise. Thank you so much, Sean. And the contact information for Sean will be in the description of this interview. So find it there, connect with him, and continue the conversation. Thank you again, Sean. Great to have you on, and I'll see you next time.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.